So is it possible to write books and run a book independent publishing business just using one of these things, a smartphone like this one, like my iPhone mini 13 here? Well, the answer is yes, and in this video I'll just briefly outline how I've managed to do just that. So the first thing to consider is how on earth can you actually physically type a long manuscript of a book just on a little tiny iPhone, which is, well, in this case an iPhone 13. Well, it's impossible, isn't it? And that's why I don't type on my iPhone. I use this thing, which is the voice to text functionality. So I've got Scrivener open at the moment, which is the main piece of software I use, but you could use notes or various applications you can get for to go on an Android device, or in this case an iPhone, and they will have a little keyboard and also a little voice to text function. So if I click the little microphone, I can then speak at my phone and it will transcribe what I'm saying pretty accurately, as long as I say the grammar as well, the full stops and the commas and new lines. Let's give it a go. So, comma, just to illustrate the capability of an iPhone mini using voice to text, full stop, new line. As you can see, comma, as long as I speak clearly, comma, this system gets most of the words I'm speaking down as text with very few mistakes, full stop, new line. It does make mistakes, comma, so you will need to edit your manuscript, full stop. New line. But, comma, as I'm sure you can appreciate, comma, this is a really good way of getting an early draft of your manuscript written, full stop. Now you might think that's a bit of a faff, isn't it, having to speak your entire manuscript using voice to text. But to be honest, it's far quicker than actually trying to physically type a manuscript. I do typing as well, so I kind of type on my iPad mini, which we'll come on to in a different video, because you can do much the same on that as you can do on an iPhone mini. But one of the great advantages of using voice to text is, quite apart from it not giving you repetitive strain injury on your arms, which is always good, it's just far quicker, because you can speak far more quickly than you can actually physically type. And because the accuracy rate is pretty high with voice to text, it's probably about 98% accurate at the moment, just with the free voice to text functionality you get on any Android or iPhone these days. Because it's about 98% accurate, so it transcribes the words correctly 98% of the time, you end up with a fairly good manuscript. At the end of it, you just need to speak your commas and your full stops and new line when you want to go to a new paragraph, all of which is fine from my point of view. So I think, as I probably illustrated here, it is possible to get the manuscript of your book written on an iPhone or on a small smartphone using voice to text functionality. And then you can walk around in places like this, as I do, outside. It's 2nd of January 2025, writing just by speaking into your iPhone. And the great thing is, you don't actually need to speak into your iPhone. You can use a lavalier microphone, or as I do, the DJI Mic Mini, which is a brand new microphone that DJI have just come out with, and that's brilliant for, if you want to whisper rather than shout or speak loudly when you're walking along doing your writing. You can just use a small lavalier microphone and almost whisper into it, and it will transcribe your words pretty accurately. So that's great. We've kind of established that it is quite possible to draft a manuscript of a book on a smartphone, an Android phone or an iPhone. Now bear in mind, I do write fairly short books, so my books are normally about 20,000 to 25,000 words, non-fiction, which is, there's a good market for short reads, especially with non-fiction, where people just want the answer to a particular problem or a particular question they've got. And also some fiction writing is very short form as well. So my manuscripts tend to be quite short, 20,000 to 25,000 words, maybe up to 30,000 words. And once you've got your manuscript, is it actually possible to then edit it entirely using just a smartphone? And yes, it is. So I've written and published 2 books purely using my iPhone mini. I've written and published 6 books so far, 2 of which were just on my iPhone mini. The others were using the iPad mini and iPad Air. What about the editing of your manuscript? Well, that's quite straightforward as well. So what I do is I edit within the software called Scrivener. I'll put a link to that in the description below. It's an app that you can get for an iPhone, for iOS and for Android, and for obviously you can use it on iPads, and you can also use it on MacBooks and just standard Windows computers as well. So that's Scrivener. Like I say, a link to the description is in the description below. You can use Scrivener to edit as well, just by reading through the text and kind of on the phone screen and just editing errors and rejigging the text as you go along. All perfectly doable on the small iPhone screen I found. But you can also email or send a copy. You can compile your manuscript within Scrivener and send a copy to an online app, e-reader app such as Kindle, and I think Kobo does one as well. So there are several kind of ebook apps you can get for every phone, for Android and an iPhone. And what you can do is you can compile your written manuscript from Scrivener as an EPUB file and then send it straight to that Kindle app, for instance. And you can read through your manuscript as if you're reading an ebook, and you can obviously make adjustments to the manuscript via the notes sort of functionality within Kindle, and presumably within other e-reader devices as well on your iPhone. So you can do the editing in terms of a kind of a first run through editing yourself. But then you may want to get a professional editor to look at your manuscript, and that's where you may want to move away from the iPhone and email a copy to your editor. You can easily find a freelance editor on the Alliance of Independent Authors website, and you can compile your manuscript within Scrivener as a Word kind of document, email it to your editor, and they can do the editing for you and then send it back to you. So you can easily get your draft manuscript edited either completely on your iPhone if you do it yourself, or you can just compile it out of your iPhone and send it, or your smartphone and send it to your editor. But then you need to actually format your manuscript for EPUB and as a kind of an ebook and as a paperback and hardcover format for publication. And that's easy, or it's straightforward. I use Draft 2 Digital. There's a link to those in the description below to that particular website, which basically has online tools with which you can, for free, you don't have to pay anything, you can compile your manuscript as an EPUB for ebook publication and as a PDF for hardcover and print paperback publication. And again, you can do that on an iPhone or on a smartphone pretty easily, as long as you can open a web browser on your smartphone, which obviously you can with all modern smartphones. Now, in terms of book cover design, that's straightforward. You can use Canva, which is an online graphic design package. There's an app for that which you can get for a smartphone, and I use that app to do my book cover designs myself. Or you can go again to the Alliance of Independent Authors website, and they have a directory of freelance book cover designers. But you can compile those 2 files on your iPhone or on your smartphone for publication. So now we have our manuscript written on the phone, we've got it edited, we've got the interior, the manuscript formatted for both ebook publication and as a hardcover and a paperback version, and we've got the book covers designed for both the hardcover and printed versions, and all of that could have been done on the smartphone. unless you commission a book cover designer to do the book cover and an editor to do the editing. So I started out by publishing my books on the world's biggest online bookstore, which is of course Amazon. And if you've already got an Amazon customer account, then it's incredibly easy just to create what's called an Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing or Amazon KDP account. And that is basically Amazon's online platform for independent book writers and publishers. And if you create a Amazon KDP account, you can upload the book files you've already created, your formatted manuscript and book covers, to Amazon, and within a very short space of time those books will become available on Amazon for customers to buy. And you can do all the other online bookstores as well. So most kind of high street bookshops have got a online retail element, so you can go order books off their websites, and you can basically publish on all of those. And I use an aggregator called Draft2 Digital, and that aggregator basically pushes out my books to all those different online bookstores. It normally takes between 4 hours and 28 hours between uploading your files to Amazon and those other online book retail stores, between uploading and them actually being available. So it literally takes about a day at the most, up to 2 days, but usually for me it takes probably 3 or 4 hours between uploading the files and then becoming available for people to purchase on those online bookstore storefronts. And there we have it. I've gone through how it's very kind of possible, even straightforward, to write a manuscript on a smartphone, edit the manuscript on a smartphone, then get it formatted for publication, get the book cover designed all on the smartphone, and then finally upload to the online retail stores for people to buy. And that's the process of self-publishing the books you write. Now that's obviously only the first phase of writing books and selling books just using your smartphone, making that a little side hustle or even a reasonable business. You obviously then need to attract people to actually buy your books. And I generally use content marketing, which is basically I have YouTube videos and my personal website which provides content for free for people, for viewers and readers, and within that free content I occasionally promote books I've written, and that's basically content marketing. So you give, and occasionally you ask for people to buy your books. So we've established that it definitely is possible to write, publish and market at least one book just using a smartphone like I do. I use an iPhone mini 13. Can writing and publishing books on a smartphone actually become a reasonable side hustle or even a full-time source of income? Well, I can outline my process and my kind of plans as far as writing books goes. So as I've said, I've written and formatted and published 2 books just on my iPhone mini, and I've published another 4 books using both the iPhone and the iPad Air and iPad mini. But my kind of plan for building up a reasonable side income, one of my side hustles through writing and publishing books, is to write and publish short books, so 20,000 words, which is about 80 to 100 pages of a standard kind of printed paperback. I use print on demand, so I have no inventory at all. When somebody orders, say, a paperback from Amazon or Waterstones, a copy is printed there and then by the actual online platforms such as Amazon, and then they ship it to the person who's ordered the book. So that's all very straightforward. So I write short books, 20-odd thousand words. Using voice to text means I can normally get between 1,000 and 3,000 words written per day in terms of a first draft manuscript. So that's anything between 30 days, perhaps fewer days to get a full manuscript written, in terms of, you know, a 20-odd thousand word manuscript. Obviously a bit longer if you take into account the kind of the research, the background research that one does, and then the editing process. So it might take 60 days to get a manuscript finished. And then, so I receive about £2 per paperback unit sold if I price them at something like between £5 and £10. £2 is kind of the minimum. It's normally £2.30. I normally price my books low, in the low range in terms of the paperback, normally kind of £3.99 to £5. And my strategy is basically to write and publish a lot of short books. Got 6 out at the moment. I'm hoping to get probably another 4 or 5 out during 2025. And what that means is that each individual book can sell only a few copies a week, let's say, but because I've got quite a few books, got a bit of a backlist, building up an inventory, those trickles of sales kind of all add up. If your book writing is a passion project, then just writing and publishing one book is great. But if you do want your books to yield a reasonable income, which I think this channel is all about, the iPhone entrepreneur, then really you need a strategy of building up a backlist of books. Each book selling a small number each week or each month, and cumulatively it became quite a significant number. And you gradually build momentum. If you can publish books in series, i.e. 2 or 3 books that are all interrelated, such as 3 books on mechanical engineering or the maintenance of a particular type of car engine or that kind of thing, then you can get read through, you can get people buying 1 volume and then moving on to the second and a third. So I do that. I'm a nature writer, non-fiction nature writer, and I'm going to be writing books in series. So I've written 2 books on Ventnor in the Isle of Wight, which is where we are now, and people tend to buy both books together. So what I would suggest to anyone is give this a go. Try using voice to text to draft your manuscript on your smartphone, or just use an iPad or a MacBook or whatever computer you've got. Try editing it yourself. Try formatting it yourself using Draft to Digital, the online platform. Try designing your own book covers using Canva, which is what I do. And once you've pulled all your formatted files together, create an Amazon KDP account and publish them on Amazon. And then move to Draft to Digital again, move back to Draft to Digital, which is the company that you did the formatting on for free. Go back to Draft to Digital and use them, an aggregator, to publish on all the other platforms in addition to Amazon. Give it a go, see how it works, and then if you enjoy the process, as I've done, you'll realise very quickly just how tractable and relatively straightforward it is. And then you can move on to your second book, and then your third, fourth, fifth. Like I say, because I'm only writing short books, 20,000, 25,000 word manuscripts, I can get through the process relatively quickly, and it's relatively pain-free. If I was writing a masterpiece, 800,000 word manuscript, 300 pages long, it would take a lot longer and I'd learn a lot less. So I would always recommend starting with a short book, just so you can go through the whole process and kind of gain that confidence that you know that this whole thing is entirely possible. And who knows, you may, if you manage to build up a backlist in 2, 3, 4 years of writing and publishing, you're going to begin to yield a reasonable income. You will need to do some marketing. Like I said, I use content marketing. I have a website where I write articles for free, and I produce this kind of content, which is obviously free, kind of a overview of the process of writing and publishing books. And I'll promote my 2 books on this video, for instance. That is content marketing. So I'm giving you free content, and I'm also promoting one of my books. You can do that. You can have a website, a blog, and YouTube channels where you do vlogging or give advice relating to the books you've written. And then you can, a small number, and it will only be a tiny proportion of conversions, people watching those videos or reading your blog will go online and buy your books. That is content marketing. At the moment, I don't do any paid for marketing, but you can do that as well. So you can go onto Amazon and use some of their advertising functionality, which you pay for. I don't do that because I'm not yielding enough money from book sales yet to justify. It's kind of a chicken and egg there, because if you can invest a bit of money in kind of paid for marketing, you obviously shift a few books a bit more quickly. But I actually quite like content marketing. I like having blogs and creating YouTube videos like this, so I prefer to do it for free, the marketing, which is exactly what I'm doing here with this video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Do leave any comments. Do read the description to the video below the video, because I'll provide some links to some of the websites and apps and that kind of thing that I've mentioned in the video. And subscribe to the channel. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link as well, so if you wish to make a donation, you can do so via buymeacoffee.com. The link to that is in the description to this video. And I hope you've liked the view as well. This is Ventnor on the Isle of Wight, looking northeast now over Ventnor Downs and Ventnor radar station. This is one of the things I love about this whole self-publishing process. It's completely independent, and I can do it literally anywhere in the world. So I'm by the sea here. I love to be by the sea, but it's winter, and I'd far rather be in Costa Rica or Thailand or Vietnam or something. But I can do that because I can literally do the process I've outlined in this video anywhere at all, and I can do these videos anywhere at all. I'm here on the Isle of Wight because I just am. I'm spending another winter here, but going forward I'm going to be using the income I gain from writing books and my YouTube channels and my blogging, that kind of thing. I'm going to be using that kind of income on the road whilst travelling the world, and writing books about it and creating videos about it. And perhaps you can do the same thing. Give it a go, and do comment in the description, in the comment section of this video, and let me know how things are going on. And stay tuned for more videos about what you can do with your smartphone to build location independent income streams.